In every store and in every ad, there's always a smiling family gathered around the dinner table, looking like they've never once argued about who's doing the dishes. On TV, Christmas starts with warmth and cozy vibes. In real life, for many women, it starts with a to-do list so long it could qualify as a long-term project. Decorating the house, buying gifts, planning the menu, remembering everyone's schedule, and constantly making sure the Christmas spirit stays intact. The funny thing is, Christmas is always described as joyful. Very joyful. So joyful that if you feel tired, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong. And just like that, a holiday meant for rest ends up making a lot of people wish for another vacation afterward. 1. For many women, Christmas starts with a to-do list. For many women, Christmas doesn't start with holiday music or the smell of baking. It starts with a to-do list. A list so long that just looking at it is exhausting. And by the time you finish reading it, you've already forgotten where you left off. That list is usually longer than an Amazon cart at 2 a.m., when everything somehow feels absolutely necessary. The difference is, Amazon lets you add things to the cart and walk away. The Christmas list doesn't come with a pause button. Decorating the house, buying gifts for everyone, planning the menu, remembering who's allergic to what, who doesn't eat what, and who will immediately notice if one traditional dish is missing. Meanwhile, as the list keeps growing, the most common question remains. Why do you look so stressed? Christmas is coming. As if everything just magically happens. And no, this isn't complaining. It's just a familiar reality, repeated faithfully every single year. And story 2. The second shift with no pay. Everyone's on holiday, and she starts another shift. When the whole world switches to rest mode, she opens her laptop at home, wearing pajama pants but carrying the spirit of Employee of the Year. Out there, people are checking in at the beach, while she checks in Wi-Fi. Friends send BBQ photos. She sends back an Excel screenshot, no filter. A fun comparison goes like this. A holiday is like a romantic comedy, while her work-from-home life is a sitcom filmed by a security camera with no laugh track. The stupidly funny part, no days off, no bonus, but still deadline's the only thing that's always on time. She rewards herself with cold coffee and a sense of victory for replying to an email within 30 seconds, even though no one asked. No one knows, no one claps, no one posts praise. Neutral close. It all happens very quietly, like a small joke of life, where the laughter comes late but still counts. Yet, story 3, the keeper of the Christmas vibe. Her official role in the family isn't written down anywhere, but everyone knows it. Keep everyone happy. When the living room is loud and suddenly drops into silence because of one misplaced comment, she shows up like the mute and play buttons at the same time. Someone sad? She switches topics faster than a YouTube ad. Tension in the air? She throws out a joke just dumb enough to make everyone forget they were about to argue. The light humor here is that she's basically the family's emotional DJ. Sometimes playing upbeat tracks, sometimes remixing old memories, sometimes smoothly fading out the drama. No one hires her, no one pays her, but she keeps working non-stop, even on holidays. While others sit back enjoying the laughter, she quietly stands behind the scenes, adjusting the emotional volume so it's comfortable for everyone. Final note, other people's joy usually comes first, and her emotional battery gets charged later. Story 4. No one asks, "Are you okay?" Everyone asks if everything's ready. Where's the food? Where are the gifts? Where's the schedule? Where's the backup plan? She keeps nodding like one of those toy birds on a car dashboard. But hardly anyone asks about how she's feeling, the kind of simple question that could slow everything down for 5 seconds. Are you okay? It's a small but very real situation, like being the power outlet in the house. Everyone plugs in. No one asks if the outlet is tired. She smiles while working, replies to messages while mentally checking what's still missing, multitasking like a laptop with 37 tabs open. If someone did ask, she'd still say, "I'm fine," because the reflex is faster than opening the fridge at midnight. The funny part is that people genuinely think everything just runs smoothly on its own. Final note, care is often forgotten, like a remote that slipped into the couch gap. Still there, just no one looking for it. But story 5. Cooking all day, eating for a few minutes. All day in the kitchen, she runs like a program with no pause button. One hand stirring pots, eyes watching the oven, ears catching the question, "Is it ready yet?" on repeat like a broken playlist. The food smells better and better, while she forgets the last time she actually sat down. When it's time to eat, the scene is painfully familiar. She leans against the counter, eating a few rushed bites like she's taking a real-time multiple-choice test. Everyone's seated around the table, laughing and chatting, while she chews fast, just in time to stand back up and check if anyone needs anything else. The funny part is the food's already cold, but everyone keeps praising it so much that she wonders if she cooked it herself, or if there's some kind of magic in the kitchen. While people are still discussing dessert, she's already thinking about cleanup. Final note: the party passes very quickly for the one who cooks, like a movie trailer that plays before the main film even starts. Story 6. The pressure of buying the perfect gift. Buying gifts for everyone sounds simple until the list gets as long as terms and conditions. Some people say anything is fine, others say don't buy random stuff, and someone else sends suggestions after she's already bought the gift. Everyone has opinions, but very few actually shop, so she becomes the family's official purchasing department, unpaid, no benefits. By day, she works her normal job. By night, she turns into a Google detective, typing gift ideas at midnight like it's a code to save the world. The funny part is that every gift has to please the recipient, fit the budget, be easy to wrap, easy to carry, and absolutely not resemble last year's gift. She stands in the store holding an item, wondering, does this say enough about how much I care? In the end, she buys nicer wrapping paper to compensate for the doubt. Final note: it all starts with the desire to make everyone happy, even when that means she's exhausted before Christmas even arrives. Aicha Story 7. Remembering traditions from both sides of the family. Traditions from her side and his side exist in parallel like two different time zones, and she's the only one who knows exactly when to switch the clock. Who eats what, on which day, where, what comes first and what comes later, all of it lives in her head, no batteries required. While everyone else just needs to show up on time and ask, why hasn't it started yet? She's been quietly organizing things for weeks. The funny part is she's basically a living Google Calendar. Automatic reminders, automatic adjustments, always running in the background. Some years getting just one small detail wrong, like mixing up the order of dishes, can throw the whole vibe off instantly. She smiles, remembers it, fixes it, like it's a system error instead of human emotion. No one officially assigns her the job, but if she forgets, everyone notices immediately. Final note: it's invisible but constant pressure. Silently looping, even when people think everything just works. Story 8. The reluctant diplomat. Small family tensions always show up right when everyone is about to sit down to eat. One slightly off comment, one look held a second too long, and the atmosphere starts to tremble like a glass of water placed near a speaker. She's the one who smooths things over, appearing at just the right moment with a smile and a statement so neutral even Switzerland would nod in approval. The funny part is she resolves the drama before dinner starts, like taking out the trash before guests arrive so no one trips over it. She changes the subject, cracks a joke, tells old stories that are safe enough not to step on anyone's toes. In her head is an emotional map of everyone, updated in real time. People relax, eat, laugh, because they know she's there keeping the temperature of the room in check. Her own emotions get neatly packed away for later, like a dessert no one remembers, but that always shows up at the very end. In Story 9, the one who remembers every schedule. Who's going where and when is the question that always finds her first. Who's allergic to what? Who doesn't eat onions? Who hates cheese but still eats pizza? All of it is stored in her memory like classified data. While others just ask out of convenience, she's already known for a week. The funny part is her memory runs overloaded, like a computer with too many tabs open that she's still afraid to close. She reminds everyone of departure times while checking ingredient lists and answering questions that sound new but have actually been asked 3 times already. If everything goes smoothly, everyone thinks it's just how things are. But forget one small detail, and someone will immediately remind her that she remembered last time. No one remembers that she's human too, not a reminder app. Final note: if someone else forgets, it's fine, but if she forgets, it will definitely be pointed out, very clearly. Story 10. Silence being misunderstood. When she's tired, she talks less than usual, and that's when people start speculating. No one thinks it's simply because her battery is drained, they assume something very serious must be going on. Silence gets interpreted as annoyance, as anger, as silently judging someone in her head, when the truth is she just wants to sit still and not have to react to one more story. The sad funny part is she's like a phone on silent mode, but everyone thinks the system is malfunctioning. Some people keep asking if she's okay, which makes her even more tired because she has to reassure them that she's fine. Others avoid her, afraid of saying the wrong thing. She sits there truly silent, but the space around her gets noisy with assumptions. If she smiles, she's tired. If she doesn't smile, she's still tired. Final note: emotions aren't always understood correctly, especially when people only see the outside and never hear what's going on inside. Story 11. Having to be cheerful while exhausted, Christmas has to be joyful. That's the unwritten rule everyone quietly understands. There's no room for exhaustion, no pause button, just music playing and the request to smile a little more. She stands there with a perfectly holiday-ready smile while her body has been sending low battery warnings since morning. The funny part is she's smiling while her legs hurt, smiling from the neck up while the rest has basically gone on strike. People say the vibe today feels so fun, not realizing that fun is being held together with emotional tape. She nods along because explaining would take more effort than pretending she's fine. Sometimes she thinks if there were medals for family acting, she'd at least get nominated. Laughter fills the room, nice photos get taken, and the exhaustion gets neatly tucked away in the back. Final note: real feelings are carefully hidden so everyone else's Christmas stays complete, even when hers isn't. Chapter 18. Story 12. The emotional labor no one sees. Remembering, caring, worrying, these all happen quietly in her head, like a control center that never shuts down. Who's tired today? Who's feeling sad? Who needs to be checked on? Everything gets handled internally. No notifications, no sign-offs. No one counts it as work because it has no title, no lunch break, and obviously no pay. The light humor is that she does more work in her head than in any meeting. While everyone else relaxes and chats freely, she's still quietly adjusting her tone, choosing safe words, and predicting each person's reaction. If everything goes smoothly, everyone thinks the atmosphere is just naturally fine. No one sees the effort because nothing goes wrong. But the moment she's tired and lets her guard down a little, the mood immediately goes offbeat, like weak Wi-Fi. That's when people realize there was something holding everything together all along. Story 13. The one who decorates and then cleans up. She starts by decorating the house with the spirit of an artist and the schedule of a project manager. Lights hung in the right places, candles set in the right tones, everything looking like an illustration from an ad. People walk in, compliment how beautiful it is, then sit down like it's the most natural thing in the world. After the party, when the laughter fades and chairs get pushed back, she's still there. The funny part is the lights look beautiful, but the wires are tangled just like the emotions after a long day. She untangles each knot with the patience of someone used to finishing the story. While others say it can be cleaned up tomorrow, she's already plugging things out for the last time. No one remembers who put things up or who took them down, only that the house always returns to neat and normal. She looks around the empty room and wonders how everything went by so fast. Final note: it's a familiar loop, starting with bright decorations and ending in very tidy silence. Story 14. Christmas on social media. Christmas on social media always looks perfect, with a perfectly straight tree, warm lights, a cup of cocoa placed just right, and smiles carefully angled. A few seconds of scrolling is enough to make it feel like everyone is living in a month-long advertisement. Reality is much messier. Behind the pretty frame are coats draped over chairs, wrapping paper all over the floor, light strings tangled like end-of-year thoughts, and someone trying not to step on toys. The funny part is that with the right camera angle, all the chaos automatically disappears. She tilts the phone to the left to hide the unwashed dishes, lowers it a bit more to cover the chaotic corner of the room. The photo gets posted and collects compliments and heart icons, while in real life she has to clear a path just to get a glass of water. Everyone believes in that image. Final note: no one actually lives like the photo, not even the person who posted it. Story 15. The pressure to do traditions the right way. Everything has to be exactly like every year before. That's the mantra repeated before each holiday season. The food has to match last year's, the timing can't be off, and the stories should sound familiar. No changes, even if someone's tired, because tradition somehow sounds more sacred than sore feet. The funny part is traditions don't update, like old software that still runs but keeps throwing error messages. She hears "we've always done it this way" and knows the night is going to be long. Anyone who suggests even a small change gets looked at like they just tried to change the national anthem. She smiles, goes along with it, and tells herself this is a remake with no creative rights. Everyone feels reassured because everything is familiar, while she counts the minutes until she can finally sit down. If everything goes smoothly, people say traditions are wonderful. Final note: change sometimes gets treated as wrong, even when it's only meant to help everyone feel a little less tired. Story 16. Losing personal space. A crowded house is something everyone looks forward to, but it comes with the feeling that there's always someone standing right behind you. There's no longer a quiet place to sit and exhale without being asked if you want more food or why you're being so quiet. Voices overlap with music, clinking dishes, and the same old stories being told for the fifth time. The funny part is the most peaceful place in the house suddenly becomes the bathroom. She sneaks in there for a few minutes like she's on a short vacation, sitting on the toilet lid, staring at her phone, doing nothing, just letting her head be quiet. Someone knocks asking why it's taking so long, making her jump like she's been caught doing something suspicious. She returns to the living room with a polite smile and slightly reduced energy. No one thinks needing a few minutes alone is a luxury. Final note: the need is very small, just a moment of silence, but in a crowded house, it's harder to find than the TV remote. Story 17. Always putting her emotions last. Everyone else gets prioritized in a way that feels completely natural, as if there's an invisible line and she's always standing at the end of it. Who's tired first? Who's sad first? Who needs to talk first? All of it gets handled right away. Her emotions go last, not because they don't matter, but because she's used to saving them for later. The light humor is that "it can wait" becomes a reflex faster than saying hello. When there's free time, she uses it to ask if others are okay instead of asking herself. If someone does notice and asks about her, she'll smile and say she's fine, really. People believe it because she's said it so many times. She's not trying to be strong, she just doesn't want to interrupt the atmosphere. Over the years, putting her emotions aside turns into a soft skill no one taught but everyone expects her to have. Final note: it's a habit formed over time, very convenient for others, and very quiet for her. Story 18. Sacrifice becoming taken for granted. Doing too much for too long has a strange side effect. Other people start to think it's the default. She does it out of habit, because it needs to be done, because no one else steps up. Little by little, no one notices anymore because everything always works. The sad funny part is she does it so well that she gets forgotten. Like a fast-charging battery that no one remembers, still needs to be plugged in. When she's around, things run smoothly, so no one asks how that even happens. Only when she slows down a little does someone finally look up and ask if something's wrong today. She gives a half smile because explaining feels more exhausting than just continuing. Sacrifice is praised at first, then expected, and eventually becomes the floor everyone walks on. No one means to be careless. They've just gotten used to it being there. Final note: recognition matters because sometimes a single thank you is enough to remind us that someone quietly carried a lot so everything could feel light. Story 19. Not control, just no one else doing it. She often gets that familiar look. Why do you have to handle everything? She's seen as controlling, when in reality the roles around her are just empty. If no one speaks up, everything comes to a very serious standstill. The funny part is if she doesn't do it, no one actually does. Schedules don't appear on their own, food doesn't cook itself, and plans don't form out of thin air. She asks to be sure, asks to remember, and asks so nothing slips away. Others hear it too often and think she's picky, while she's just filling a very large gap. Sometimes she tries letting go to see what happens, and the result is a whole room looking at each other waiting for a miracle. She sighs and keeps going, because waiting is more exhausting than doing. No one likes carrying responsibility, but everyone likes when things run smoothly. Final note: responsibility doesn't appear by itself. It needs someone to take it on. Akshu Story 20. Tired of having to explain emotions. She's not just tired from doing too much, she's also tired from having to explain why she's tired. Explaining why she needs rest sounds simple, but it feels like giving a presentation no one signed up to hear. She says she's a bit drained today, and someone immediately asks, "Drained how?" She says she needs quiet, and someone responds, Is something wrong? The funny part is explaining is more exhausting than the tiredness itself. She has to find words for how she feels like she's translating a rare language. If she keeps it too short, it gets taken as annoyance. If she explains too much, she gets labeled as sensitive. In the end, she smiles it off because smiling is still faster than explaining. Everyone else feels reassured, and she gains a whole new layer of exhaustion. Sometimes she wishes emotions came with subtitles, so she wouldn't have to speak. Final note: being understood without having to explain is a very rare and very necessary kind of rest. Story 21. Christmas isn't sad, just overloaded. She doesn't hate the holidays, and she's not against the cheerful atmosphere. The problem is simply that too many things are happening at the same time. Not one big task, but hundreds of small ones stacked neatly on top of each other. Messages, holiday wishes, meal plans, schedules, and the question, why isn't it done yet, all arrive at once. The funny part is the feeling is exactly like an email inbox where the unread count rises faster than you can open anything. She's not sad, her brain is just full. People say, just relax, while the to-do list keeps running in the background. She still smiles, still joins in, but her energy slowly drops like an old phone battery. If she steps away for a moment, people ask if something's wrong. If she stays, she has to split her attention in every direction. Final note: overload isn't negative. It's simply a sign that too many things are being asked at once from someone who's still trying to keep everything okay. Einders Story 22. Off work, but not really off. On the calendar, she's not working, and that sounds very promising. In reality, her brain is still clocked in like it's the morning shift. No company emails, but a whole stack of family stuff she has to remember. No Zoom meetings, but conversations that somehow last the entire day. The funny part is, this is what you call a vacation in theory. She's sitting on the couch, but her mind is standing in the kitchen, making the next to-do list. People say just relax, but how do you relax when your brain is still in processing mode? She tries to watch a movie but can't remember the plot because she's also wondering if she replied to that message yet. From the outside, she looks extremely chill. On the inside, it's a non-stop to-do board running at full speed. She doesn't complain because it sounds selfish on a holiday. Bottom line, resting isn't just about not going to work. It's about giving your mind permission to shut some thoughts off. And that turns out to be way harder than asking for a day off. Story 23. Lonely in a crowd. The house is so full of people that there's always talking coming from every direction. Chairs are filled, the kitchen is busy, and conversations roll on without stopping. But she still feels out of place in a way that's hard to explain. She's there, she smiles, she nods, but it feels like she's standing half a step outside the conversation. The subtle, funny part is that she talks, but no one really hears her. Her words pass by politely, then immediately get covered by another story right after. No one is trying to ignore her. Everyone is just busy saying their own part. She listens more than she talks because listening is easier than jumping in. Sometimes she wonders if she disappeared from the room, would the air even change? She's not sad and she's not mad, just tired of being present without being connected. Bottom line, loneliness doesn't require being alone. Sometimes it shows up the clearest when there are too many people and too many voices around. Story 24. No one notices she needs care too. Everyone gets asked what they want to eat or drink, if they need more of anything, and she's almost always the one asking first. She remembers everyone's preferences, who doesn't eat spicy food, who has allergies, and who needs to eat on time. Everything runs so smoothly that no one thinks to circle back and ask what she needs. The funny part is she's like a full service care package, just without a section for herself. When she finally sits down to eat, the food is already cold, and when she stands up, she forgets she was about to eat in the first place. Sometimes she's thirsty but thinks later, and later turns into another task. She doesn't complain because she doesn't want to ruin the shared vibe. People believe she's fine because she always says she's fine, very naturally. The light irony is she takes care of herself so well that others assume she doesn't need care anymore. Bottom line, care is a two-way thing, and sometimes all it takes is one small question to make the person who always gives feel seen. Zine, Story 25. Joy that comes from other people being happy. For her, just seeing everyone laugh is enough to call the celebration a success. The laughter around the table feels like a mission completed report. She looks at each happy face and quietly nods, thinking, all right, that's good enough. But it's also exhausting. because that joy doesn't appear on its own. It takes a lot of behind-the-scenes energy. The funny part is it's a kind of secondhand joy, like watching the trailer but never actually seeing the movie. She's happy because others are happy, but she never really gets a chance to sit down herself. When someone asks if she's having fun, she says yes immediately, because that answer is easier than checking how she actually feels. Her joy lives in other people's reactions, in satisfied looks, and the comment today was really fun. But once everyone leaves, the exhaustion finally shows up. Bottom line, giving also needs to be refilled, because joy only lasts when it doesn't come at the cost of draining yourself. Story 26. Not hoping for gifts, just hoping to be understood. For her, gifts don't really matter, even though people still ask what she wants to make buying easier. What actually matters much more is being understood, but that never shows up on the suggestion list. The funny part is the gift she hopes for doesn't need wrapping, a receipt, or an exchange. All it takes is someone noticing she's a little tired today and not asking any follow-up questions. Just one line, like "take a break, we've got this," already feels lighter than a big gift box. She doesn't need surprises or pretty bows. She just doesn't want to have to explain her feelings. People usually buy physical things because that's easier, while understanding someone properly takes a bit more attention. When someone actually does that, she feels happy in a very quiet way. The light irony is the simplest gift is also the hardest one to find. Bottom line, being truly understood makes a huge difference because it makes people feel seen without having to say too much. Chapernaefdreik. Story 27. Christmas passes by very fast. Everything goes by so quickly it feels like someone hit fast forward without asking first. The lights go off, the music stops, messages slow down, and the calendar snaps back to normal. But the exhaustion is still there, like a guest who stayed after the party without being invited. The funny part is the real work actually starts after the holiday. Post-holiday cleanup feels like an after-credits scene that no one sticks around to watch. She takes down the string lights, folds the wrapping paper, and wonders how the Christmas tree looked beautiful yesterday, but today looks tired, just like her. Everyone returns to their regular routine and says the holiday was really fun, as if everything has already been taken care of. No one asks what comes after because the holiday is over. She's not sad, just drained, like a battery stuck on one bar. She drinks coffee, looks at the empty room, and realizes this feeling is familiar. Bottom line, Christmas passes by quickly, but the exhaustion sticks around a little longer, and usually no one notices it. Story 28. Emotions have no place at the party. At the party, there's only laughter and carefully selected stories, like a safe playlist. There's no room for other emotions because they don't fit the vibe. If someone's sad, they smile. If they're tired, they nod. If they're overwhelmed, they step into the kitchen for a bit, then come back. The funny part is everyone does it, like there's an unspoken agreement to put emotions away before sitting at the table. She does it too, very smoothly, placing her feelings up on a high shelf like something fragile. While the laughter fills the room, she laughs along and reminds herself not to think too much. No one asks deeper questions, because asking deeper would slow the party down. Everything looks fun, right on schedule. But emotions don't disappear, they just wait for quiet moments to knock again. When the party ends and the house goes silent, she finally hears what she's been ignoring. Bottom line, emotions don't have a seat at the party, but they always find a way to show up when no one's watching. Story 29. The one who holds the family together feels out of place. She's the one keeping everything connected, like a central power strip everyone plugs into because it's convenient. Meetups get reminded on time, conversations stay linked, meals run smoothly. But inside, the feeling is fragmented, like weak signal in a crowded house. The quietly sad part is she stands in the middle but still feels far away, like watching her family through a layer of glass. Everyone talks to each other, while she manages the rhythm so no one gets left behind. When she smiles, everyone feels reassured. When she goes quiet, no one really notices. Sometimes she wonders what would happen if she stopped holding things together. She's not angry, just tired of being present without being touched. Her role is very clear, but her emotions have nowhere to land. Standing in a room full of people, she still feels like she's outside. Bottom line, a role can't replace emotions, even in the most familiar moments. Part 30. Silence doesn't mean everything's fine. There's a very common misunderstanding every Christmas season. If a woman is quiet, she must be fine. In reality, not really. A lot of the time, silence isn't because everything's okay. It's because saying something wouldn't change anything anyway. Silence slowly turns into a habit. Tired? Stay quiet. Overwhelmed? Stay quiet. Sometimes staying silent actually takes less energy than explaining why you're tired. The funny part is, some women get so used to not saying anything that if they do complain just once, they almost feel awkward about it. It's like wearing a slightly too tight shirt. At first, it's uncomfortable. Then you get used to it. And only when you finally take it off do you realize how tense you've been the whole time. Silence works the same way. It doesn't mean everything's fine. It just means you've gotten used to hiding it. And Christmas, with all its noise and cheer, somehow ends up being the moment when that silence feels the loudest. Story 31. What Women Want Most. To be seen after everything, what many women want most at Christmas isn't gifts. Not a perfectly wrapped box that no one even dares to open. And not a flawless holiday where everything goes exactly according to plan, like in the commercials. What they want is actually much simpler. To be seen. To be recognized that Christmas doesn't just magically happen. It doesn't decorate itself. It doesn't cook itself. It doesn't remember who's allergic to nuts, who's gluten-free, and who will ask, "Do you have this dish?" the second they walk in the door. The ironic part? A lot of people only realize this when none of it gets done anymore. When dinner is late. When gifts are missing name tags. When the Christmas vibe suddenly feels kind of flat. That's when everyone starts wondering, wait, who usually takes care of all this? And no, women don't need constant praise. They don't need applause. They don't need an emotional speech in the middle of the party. Sometimes all it takes is one very simple sentence. I see what you did. Outro. Maybe Christmas isn't just about hanging lights or exchanging gifts. Maybe it's also a moment to notice the people quietly keeping everything running. The ones behind the scenes of the celebration. And sometimes being seen is the warmest gift of the holiday season.